ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणम् तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तमा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। नत्वा श्रीभारती तीर्थविद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
नत्वा श्रीभारती
तीर्थविद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरौ
अधीमहे पञ्चदशीं कैवल्यपदसिद्धये।
अधीमहे पञ्चदशीं कैवल्यपदसिद्धये।
द्वैतविवेकप्रकरणं द्वितीयश्लोकः। मायान्तु प्रकृतिं विद्यान् मायिनन्तु महेश्वरम्।
मायान्तु प्रकृतिं विद्यान् मायिनन्तु महेश्वरम्।
समायी सृजति त्यागुश्वेताश्वतरशाखिनः।
समायी सृजति त्यागुश्वेताश्वतरशाखिनः।
आत्मा वा इदमग्रे भूत्स ईक्षतसृजा इति।
आत्मा वा इदमग्रे भूत्सृजा इति।
संकल्पेनासृजौ लोकान् स एतानिति बह्वृशाः। कं वायुभग्निजलोर्व्योषध्यन्न देहाः
त्वं
कं
वायुर्जलोर्व्योषधन्नदेः
वायुर्व्योषद्धन्नदेहाप्रमादमी
सम्भूता ब्रह्मणस्तस्मादेतस्मादात्मनोऽखिलाः
सम्भूता
सम्भूता ब्रह्मणस्तस्मादेतस्मादात्मनोऽखिलाः
बहुश्यामहमेवातः प्रजा ये येति कामतः
बहुस्यामहमेवातः
प्रजायेति
कामतः
कामतः
तपस्तप्त्वा सृजत् सर्वं जगदित्यागतिथिरिः
तपस्तप्त्वा
तपस्तप्त्वा
सृजत्
सृजत्
सर्वं
सर्वं
जगदित्यागतिथिरिः
जगदित्याहतिथिरिः
इदमग्रे सदेवासीद् भगुत्वाय तदैक्षत
इदमग्रे
सदेवासीद्बहुत्वाय
सदेवासीद्यतदैक्षत
तदैक्षत
तेजो बन्नाण्डजादीनि ससर्जेति च सामगाः
तेजो
तेजो
बह्नाण्डजातीनि
बह्नाण्डजादीनि
ससर्जेते च
ससर्जेति च
सामगाः
सामगाः
विस्फुलिङ्गा यथा वह्नेर्जायन्ते क्षरतस्तथा
विस्फुलिङ्गायता
जायन्ते
वह्निर्जायन्ते
क्षरतस्तथा
क्षरतस्तथा
विविधाश्चिज्जडा भावा इत्यातर्वणिका श्रुतिः
विविधाश्चिज्जडा भावा
सर्वणिका
इत्यातर्वणिका
श्रुतिः
श्रुतिः
द्वैतं विविच्यते। ईश्वरेण सृष्टं द्वैतं जीवेन च सृष्टं द्वैतं द्वैतद्वयम् अस्मिन् प्रकरणे विविच्यते। द्वैतप्रकरणस्य विवेचनं क्रियते विवेकेन विवेके सति पृथक्कृते सति किम् ईश्वर सृष्टं द्वैतं किं जीवसृष्टं द्वैतम् इति पृथक्कृते सति जीवेन कृतः बन्धः हेयः त्यक्तुं योग्यः इति ज्ञानं स्फुटीभवति इति उक्त्वा द्वितीयमन्त्रे विद्यारण्यमुनिना उक्तं मायां तु प्रकृतिं विद्यां मायिनं तु महेश्वरम् इति श्वेताश्वतर उपनिषदः वाक्यं तदा अस्मान् मायि सृजते विश्वमेतत् इति अस्याः उपनिषदः अन्यवाक्यमपि दर्शितम् अस्ति। उपनिषदः वाक्येन जगत् जगत्कर्ता ईश्वरः जगतः सृष्टत्वम् ईश्वरस्य जगतः सृष्टत्वं दर्शयति। तृतीयश्लोके ऐतरेय उपनिषदः वाक्यम् अततः दर्शयति आत्मा वा इदमेक एवाग्रे आसीत् नान्यत् किञ्चन मिषत् स ईक्षत लोकानुसृजा इति स इमान् लोकान् असृजत इति ऐतरेय उपनिषद् वाक्यम्। चतुर्थ श्लोके कं वायुवग्नि इति तस्मादेतस्माद् आत्मनः आकाशो सम्भूतः आकाशाद् वायुः वायोरग्निः अग्निरापः अद्भ्यः पृथिवी पृथिव्या ओषधयः ओषधीभ्योऽन्नम् अन्नात् पुरुषः इति तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद वाक्यम अर्थतः प्रदर्शयति। किमर्थम् ईश्वरः ईश्वरस्य जगत् सृष्टत्वं दर्शितम्। पंचम श्लोके अपि तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद वाक्यम अर्थतः प्रदर्शयति। सो कामयत भगुस्यां प्रजा ये येति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा इदं सर्वम् असृजत इति षष्ठतमश्लोके। इदम् अग्रे सत् एव आसीत्। कस्मिन् उपनिषदे अस्ति? छान्दोग्य सामवेद अंतर्गतायां छान्दोग्य उपनिषदि एतद्वाक्यम् अस्ति। ब्रह्मणः जगत्सृष्टत्वं दर्शयति छान्दोग्य उपनिषद्वाक्यद्वारा। सदैव सौम्येदमग्र आसीत् एकमेव द्वितीयं पूर्वमपि दृष्टं गत प्रकरणे अपि। तदैक्षत भगुस्यां प्रजा ये येति तत्तेजो असृजत। सप्ततम श्लोके सम्यक् जानीमः यत् एतत् वाक्यं मुण्डकोपनिषदि वर्तते। विस्फुलिङ्गाः यथा सुदीप्तात् पावकात् विस्फुलिङ्गाः सहस्रशः प्रभवन्ते स्वरूपाः तथाक्षरात् द्विविधाः सौम्यभावाः प्रजायन्ते तत्र चैवापि यन्ति इति उपनिषद वाक्ये हि उक्तम् अस्ति। अक्षरतः जगतः जन्म भवति इति। अक्षरतः विविधाः चिज्जडाः जायन्ते। इति आचार्येण सम्यक् दर्शितं भवति। अक्षरतः वन्यके जायन्ते अक्षरतः तथा। अक्षर इति ब्रह्मणः नाम मुण्डकोपनिषदि। ब्रह्मणः नाम सत् इति छान्दोग्ये, आत्मा इति ऐतरेये, ब्रह्म इति तैत्तिरीये। एतानि सर्वाणि ब्रह्म नामानि एव। अक्षरं वा सत् वा आत्मा वा। भूमा इति अन्य भूमा विद्या तदपि अस्ति। भूमा विद्या तदपि अक्षरस्य ब्रह्मणः नाम। ईश्वरः इति अपि ब्रह्मनाम एव। ईश्वरात् चित् भावाः चित् जडभावाः। चित् इत्युक्ते चेतना सृष्टि। जडभावाः जडपदार्थाः अचेतन सृष्टि। जायन्ते इति आतर्वणिकी श्रुति। Up to this we saw 8 shloka also we saw. Now 8 and 9 together we will read. Acharya quotes from the big Upanishad, Bragadaranyaka Upanishad, Shukla Yajurvediya Bragadaranyaka Upanishad. 8 shloka we saw together to be read. जगद्व्याकृतं पूर्वम् आसीद् व्याक्रियताधुना।
जगद्व्याकृतं पूर्वम् आसीत् व्यक्तताधुना।
दृश्याभ्यां नामरूपाभ्यां विराडादिषु ते स्फुटे।
विराडादिषु ते स्फुटे।
विरान्मनुर्नरा गावः खराश्वाजावयस्तथा। पिपीलिकावदिभ्यां द्वन्द्वमिति भाजसनेयिनः
पीपीलिकावति
पीपीलिकावद्वन्द्वम् इति वाचसनेयः
वाचसनेयः
वाजसनेयिनः बृहदारण्यक उपनिषदि वाजसनेयी शाखा अस्ति। वाजसनेयी शाखा वाजसनेय शाखायाः अध्येतारः वाजसनेयिनः इति। One who studies Vajasaneyi Shaka is called Vajasaneyinaha. Acharya quotes from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Avyakrita Kandika 147. All the quotations are given by the Tikakara. Tikakara himself gives Tadhedam Sarga Vyakritam Asit Tannama Rupa Abhyam Eva Vyakriyata Aso Nama Yamidam Rupa Giti तदिदमप्येत् तर्हि रामरूपाभ्याम् एव व्याक्रियते असौ नायमिदं रूप इति. We saw in the last class this shloka. Jagat purvam avyakritam asit. Srishtehe prak. The Maya was unmanifest. Jagat karanam padana karanam Maya. Purvam asit avyakritam asit. Srishtehe purvam. Where is nama rupa atmaka jagat? It is in the form of unmanifest. From the unmanifest Jagat evolved. When kada aduna ityukte srishti kale vyakritam bhavati etat bijat ankuraha bhavati tadvat etat bijat ankuraha vrukshah kutra asti bija eva asti katam asti avyakrita rupena bijat eta vyakritam bhavati ankuraha vrukshah tadvat avyakta mayayaha व्यक्त माया व्यक्त जगत जगत व्यक्तम भवति पूर्वम आसीत्. This Maya alone, unmanifest Maya, doesn't exist independently. Maya tu prakriti vidya mayinam tu maheshwaram. So that manifest Maya manifests into namarupatmaka jagat aduna vyakriyata. This namarupabhyam drishyabhyam, which is available for perception, drishyabhyam, drashtum yogyabhyam, सृष्टिकाले नामरूपेण नाम च रूपं च नाम रूपे ताभ्यां नाम रूपाभ्यां वाभ्यां विराड कथम in what form केन रूपेण विराडादिषु ते स्फुटे नाम रूपा टू अर्ध दफुत्ते ते ते स्फुटे विराडादिषु सृष्टिकाले नामरूपेण स्फुटं भवति नामरूपाभ्यां स्फुटं भवति ते स्फुटे नामरूपे ते स्फुटे स्पष्टं ज्ञायेते स्फुटं भवति नामरूपयोः स्फुटं प्रतीतिः कदा भवति विराडादिषु सृष्टिकाले नामरूपयोः स्पष्टतया प्रतीतिः भवति विराट इत्यादिषु in the form of virat ityadayah. We have seen virat up to that tespute. It becomes drishyam. Jagat becomes drishyam. In fact, that is the hetu. Jagat, for dismissing Jagat as mithya. Yata drishyam, tata mithya. Swapnavat, drishyatvat. We give the hetu. But here, They're talking about the Ishvara Srishti. Is it real? If it is real Srishti, Satya Srishti, then you cannot dismiss. If it is Satya, it will always be there. Do not undergo any change. That is why we say it is not Asat. At the same time, it is not Sat. Satu chet na badhyeta. Asat chet na pratiyeta. Therefore, only we say mitya. Because what is drishyam that is not going to be there forever? Just appearance, like the waves appear in the ocean and merges with the ocean. Waves, unmanifest waves are there, it becomes manifest and becomes unmanifest. Tadvat, Srishti also. Manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. When it manifests in the form of Virat, etc. Viradadishu. The section Purusha Vida Brahmana, again in Brihadaranyaka, 147. Virat Srishti is talked about. Virat Srishti is talked about in the Vajasaneyi. The one who studies Shukla Yajurveda is called Vajasaneyinaha. So there Virat this is talked about. It is Atmaive Vedamagre Asi Purusha Vidaha iti arabhya. Evameva tadidam kinchamaitunam apipilikaabhyaha tatsarvam asujata. The सृज्यमानाः सर्वे padarthaः tatra varnitaः santi. What all padarthas are mentioned. Here also author gives some padartha, some objects, some vastus he mentions. Virat, starting from Virat. Virat is a designation, it's a position. Virat Purushaha. Virat is a designation. Virat Purushaha. Purusha with the Brahmana talks about Virat Purusha. So Virat is Brahmaji. Prajapati. Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Hiranyagarbha. Virat is Samashti Stula Sharira Abhimani. So Virat Purushasya Srishtihi. So for Virat is Brahmanda Katmaka Suradega Abhimanavan Purushaha Virat. Samashti Stula Sharira Abhimani Atma. So Sahayeva Shuta Purusha Vidaha iti Shabdena Uktaha asti Purusha Vidaha Nibradaranyaka Upanishad. Now this Virat Purusha, you can say Brahmaji, same Brahmaji only. He divided himself into Manu and his wife Shatarupa. Manu and his wife Shatarupa. He was not happy being alone. Ekaki na kshamate. Saha dvitiyam aichat. Wanted to become two. Therefore he got married. Shatarupa. From them all pairs came. First is Virat. From Virat came Manu Shatarupa. Then all the beings. Naraha, Nari, Gavaha, Karaha. Karaha is donkeys. Gardavaha. Janashva, Aja, Avayaha. All those things came. Virat, Manuhu, Naraha, Gavaha, Karaha, Karashvajavayaha. It is Karaha, birds, Karaha, Ashvaha, Hayaha, then Ajaha, Chagaha, then Avayaha, Pakshinaha, Sarve. Pipilika, Avadi, Pipilika Avadi, Pipilika Pariyantam, up to Pipilika, smallest, all the pairs, all the dvandvas पिपीलिका पर्यंतम पिपीलिका अवधि द्वंद्वम पिपीलिका अवधि द्वंद्वम इस पिपीलिका पर्यंतम अवधि पिपीलिका पर्यंतम अवधि मध्यम पद लोप समास पिपीलिका अवधि पिपीलिका अवधेः द्वंद्वम पिपीलिका अवधि द्वंद्वम षष्ठी तत्पुरुष समास. So we have Madhyama Pada Lopa Samasa and then Shashti Tatpurusha Samasa up to the Pipilika. Abrahma Pipilika Vadi. Starting from Virat up to Pipilika, from Brahmaji up to. That's what we say Brahma Arabhya, Brahmadi Stamba Paryantam. Here it's a Pipilika. All the creations came. The Ishvara Srishta Dvaitam is talked about by Vajasane Vajasaneya Neya Akshakayaha Adyetaraha Vadanti. They talk about this is how Srishti Samagram Jagat Etavateva Srishtam Bhavati iti Srishtim iti Srishti this Ish Dvaita Srishtim Bhavati Ishvarasya Dvaita Srishtehe Srishtihi Ishvaraha Asrachat. But how do you prove this? Logic cannot establish this. That is why Shruti is Pramanam. Logic cannot establish. Shruti says, therefore we accept. Shruti says, up to this creator, further multiplication, how did it happen? Because dvandvas were created. Therefore, Stri Purushayoho Melanena Srishtihi Bhavishyati iti Karnena. Therefore, Dvandvan Ubevidan Praninaha Ishvaraha Asrajat. And once he created after that Srishti takes care, it multiplies. Because pairs of opposites are there, therefore it multiplies. Iti Upanishad says. So Viran Manuhu is Virat Manuhu, Yaraha Anunasike Anunasiko Va Sandhi. So Virat Manuhu, Naraha, Gavaha, and Kara Shva, that is Iteretara Dvandva Samasa. Karaha, Shvaha, Jaha, Avihi, Avayaha is Bhagavachanam. All are Bhagavachanam. The whole thing is a Bhagavachanam. Iteretara Dvandva Samasa. Avihi, Avi, Avayaha. Pakshinaha ityartaha. Pipilika Dvandvam iti Vajasa Nayinaha. Now let us read the Tika. Evam Bragadaranyake api Avyakrita Shabda Vachya Brahma Vachyat Brahmanaha Namarupatmakam Jagat Utpannam iti Shrutim itiyaha Dvabhyam. Avyakrita Brahmanaha, that is Brahma, which is Avyakrita means it is Maya. Brahma, the word is used to mean Maya. Avyakrita Maya Yaha Namarupatmakam Jagat. Maya alone cannot create, therefore Brahma alone cannot do, therefore Avyakrita means Maya. Therefore Avyakrita Brahmanaha. Avyakrita Maya Yaha. This Namarupatmakam Jagam Utpannam Bhavati. Iti Shrutim Aha Dvabhyam. Jagaditi. An Acharya, he quotes from the Shruti Brihadaranyaka. Shruti Taddedam Targya Vyakritamasi Tannama Rupapyam Eva Vyakriyata Aso Na Namayam Idam Rupa Iti Vakyena Srishtehe Pura Spashta Nama Rupatvena Avyakrita Shabda Vachyat Maya Upadika Brahmanaha Nama Rupa Spashtikran Lakshana Srishtihi Ukta Tayoho Namaropayoho Viradadishu Stula Karyeshu Spashtata Cha Tadidamapyetarghi Namarupabhyam Eva Vyakriyate Aso Namaya Idam Rupa Iti Vakyena Abhigita Te Cha Viradadayaha आत्मैवेदमिदमग्र आसीत् पुरुषविद इत्यादिना एवमेव इदं किञ्च मिथुनम् आपिपीलिकाभ्यः तत्सर्वम् असृज्यते इत्यनेन दर्शिता इत्यर्थः. All quotations from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So सृष्टेः पुरा स्पष्ट नाम रूपत्वेन अव्याकृत अव्याकृत शब्दवाच्यात् माया उपाधिका ब्रह्मणः. From the Maya Upadika Brahmanaha before the Srishti, Nama Rupa Srishti Karana Lakshana Srishtihi Ukta. The Srishti which is characterized, Srishti is nothing but Nama Rupa Vyakaranam, Avyakaranam, Spashtikaranam. That is what it is, Srishti is. Here, Srishti Pura, Aspashta Rupa Ramatvena, could be brought here or it could be added. Divakyena Srishti Pura, before the Srishti, अव्याकृत शब्द वाच्यात् माया उपाधिका ब्रह्मणः नाम रूप स्पष्टीकरण लक्षणा सृष्टि. That is what सृष्टि is. सृष्टि is nothing but नाम रूप स्पष्टीकरणम उक्ता स्पष्ट नाम रूपत्वेन. स्पष्ट in the form of nama and rupa, which is sprashtam, which has come from सृष्टेः पश्चात्, which was aspashta before, becomes spashta. तयोः नामरूपयोः, namarupa, that is becomes spashta putra viradadishu stulakaryeshu spashtata bhavati. Iti quotes from again from Brihadaranyaka. Iti vakyena abhiyata te cha viradadayaha uktamasi purushavida khanda. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is said. So starting from this up to Pipilika Paryantam, everything is created. Once created, the creation will take care of itself. It will multiply. Ityanena darshita ityartaha. Then the next shloka, 10th shloka. Let us read 10th. Here, before Jiva, two types of Dvaitam, Jiva Srishta Dvaitam, Ishvara Srishta Dvaitam. Before Jiva Srishta Dvaitam, it means up to the previous shloka, Ishvara Srishta Dvaitam talked about. Now, Jiva Srishta Dvaitam is going to be talked about. Before that, what is Jiva? Jiva is introduced. As we know what Ishvara is. Maya tu prakriti vidya, mayinam tu maheshwaram. Ishvara, Jagat Karta, that is Pashtam, discussed about. And the Srishti, which is Ishvara Srishti, Ishvarena, Srishtam Dvaitam, discussed up to the 9th shloka. Now, Jivena Srishtam Dvaitam, but before, what is Jiva? Who is Jiva? That has to be discussed. That Acharya does here. From the 10th shloka. Let us read. Krutva रूपान्तरं जैवं देहे प्राविशदीश्वरः.
कृत्वा रूपान्तरं जैवं देहे प्राविशदीश्वरः.
इति ताश्रुतयः प्राहुर्जीवत्वं प्राणधारणात्.
इति ताश्रुतयः प्राहुर्जीवत्वं प्राणधारणात्.
So Jiva Srishti, when we say, it is Srishti of the Upadhi of the Jiva. Srishti of the Upadhi of the Jiva. this Jiva, how it is created. Paramatmanaha jagasrashtutvam purvam darshitam. Upanishad Vakye. Now, Jagat Srishtehe Paschat. Paramatmanaha. Paramatma having created Srishti. Brahma Paramatmanaha Pravesham. Paramatmanaha Pravesham Gadanti Upanishadaha. Paramatma enters into the Srishti. Having created the Srishti, now Upanishad tells Paramatma enters the Srishti. How does it enter? That's what it says. That is, entry is not physical entry. See, having created the house, construct the house, the person enters the house. He goes and occupies. He lives. Is it like that? No, it is Chit gets, Chaitanyam, gets reflected in this Sukshma Shariram and Jiva is formed. That is how Jiva is formed. That is what Jiva Srishti is. Upadi Sukshma Shariram. It is Srishtam, it is there. And Chaitanyam is reflected in the Sukshma Shariram, Linga Shariram. This is how the entry of Ishvara, Paramatma into the Srishti takes place. Chit is Chaitanyam, it is Brahma, Ishvaraha. Paramatma idam Shriram Pravishya, idam Upadim Pravishya, Jiva Upadim, Jivaha Bhavati. Then only we say Jiva Upadi. Therefore, really speaking, the Jivaha and Paramatmanaha na Bhinnaha. Because Paramatma alone enters the Shariram, the Upadi, Jivaha Bhavati, Tat Srishtva Tadeva Nupara Vishat. So how is the entry? The entry is not physical entry. Chaitanyam gets reflected in the Sukshma Shariram and there is Jiva, Bhavaha. All these are simultaneous. All the Upadis are created and Brahma entered as though, it is not real entry, as though into the Stula Sukshma Sharira. This created and entering, this is simultaneous. Unlike we create a house and then occupy, not like that. It is simultaneous. There is no time gap, time difference. This is how the Jiva is created. First is Upadhi creation, the creation of Upadhi of the Jiva, then Jiva creation. Two stages, but there are no two stages. It's so quick. There's no time gap. It happens simultaneously. Only in terms of understanding, there is two. First, Srishti is created, Upadhi is created, and then Jivas are born, Jivas are made, created. Like the sun reflected in the mirror. Like the sun is reflected. Similarly, Jiva is. Therefore, no Jiva is created. Unmanifest Sukshma Shariram comes to manifestation, along with samskaras. Sukshma Shariram is Pancha Jnanendriyani, Pancha Karmendriyani, Pancha Jnanadeha, Buddhishcheka, Manaschayekam, Tiyata Saptadasha Kalabhiki Tishtati, Tata Sukshma Shariram, that is Sukshma Shariram. It is Chetanam va, Chetanam va, it is Achetanam, Jada Eva, which was manifest, Sashtehe Prak, now Sashtehe Paschat becomes manifest, along with samskaras. All the samskaras are there in the form of the chip. It is there. All data are embedded in the Sukshma Shariram. Whatever karma, the Sanchita is there, everything is embedded in the Sukshma Shariram, Linga Shariram itself. That was manifest before, now comes to manifestation, along with the Purva Samskaras. At the time of Prahlaya, it assumes unmanifest form. When Srishti takes place, manifest. And Ishvaraha, Dekhe pravishat. Brahma entered Deha Au as Chidabhasa. Chit entered, and Chit is reflected in the mind, and it's called Chidabhasa, Bimba Chaitanyam. That is called Jaivam, Rupantaram Jaivam. Rupantaram Krutva Dehe, Jaivam Dehe Pravishat Ishvaraha. Ishvaraha, Jaivam Rupantaram Krutva. You have to make like that. Ishvaraha, Jaivam Rupantaram Krutva Dehe Pravishat. Iti Taha Shutayaha. Praguhu Aguhu. Therefore, Ishvara alone, it is. Ishvara Jaivam Rupantaram. What is Jaivam? Jivasya Bhavaha Jaivam. Jiva plus Tadita Pratyaya An. Jaivam. Jivasya Idam. Jivasya Idam Jaivam. So Rupantaram, Anya Rupam. That is in the form of Jiva. So Anyata Rupam, that is Rupantaram. So Brahma assumes another form, Jaivam. Krutva, Rupantaram Krutva. Svikritya. Ishvaraha Deghe Pravishat and entered. Iti Taha Shutayaha Pragugu. This is called Pravesha Shruti. This Pravesha is important in the Shastram. Pravesha Vakyam. Anupravesha Srishti. Anupravesha Bhashyam also is there. Bhashyakara discuss the Anupravesha Bhashyam. So therefore, Jivattam is due to Anupravesha. Ishvarasya Anupraveshaha. Jivattam is due to Ishvara Anupravesha. Rupantaram Jaivam Svikritya Ishvaraha Deghe Pravishat. Ishvara entered Sukma Shariram. Rupantaram in the form of Jiva. That is, Chaitanyam gets reflected and Jiva is formed. The reflection is what is called Chidabhasa. You can call Chidabhasa or Avasa or Pratibimba Chaitanyam. All are synonyms. Chit, which is reflected in the Upadhi. Antakaranam is the Upadhi. Sukma Shariram. That only mind is the Antakaranam. Therefore, it's called Chidabhasa or Abhasa or Pratibimba. All these are not Pratyaksha Vishaya. If it is Pratyaksha Vishaya, then science will analyze. It is subject matter of the Shruti. Therefore, Shutayaha Taha Shutayaha Aguhu Ishvaraha Pravishyat iti. Tat Srishtvat Daye Vanupravishyat. After Srishti Anupravishyat. So, Shankaracharya elaborately discusses this Anupravesha, Ishvara, the Anupravesha Shruti. In Aitreya Upanishad also said that there is a point on the top of the head called Brahmarandra. It is a two-way point. It is a two-way point, that is Etaya Dvarena Pravishyata. Brahma entered to this point, and Upasaka, we have seen in Kathopanishad also, Upasaka, it does Upasana and goes out through this point. So, Brahmarandra, it is Brahmarandra. So, therefore, Anena Jivena Atmana Paramatmana Pravishyata, entered into the Shariram. The Shuddha Chaitanyam in the form of Chidabhasa entered the Sukshma Shariram. Chidabhasa is called Jivaha. Why? Because Jivatvam Pranadharanat. Jiva holds the prana in the body. How long? Until the prarabdha is exhausted. So Jiva, you can hold the prana. Pranan dharati. Pranadharanat. Pranadharanat jivatvam bhavati. So prananam dharanam. Tasmat pranadharanat. How long the pranadharanam? Till prarabdha is exhausted. Once prarabdha is gone, then there is separation of the linga shariram from the stula shariram. That is what we call death, maranam. So maranam is nothing but a vibhaka, a separation. Separation of two different things. That is called Maranam. Separation of Linga Shariram from Sthula Shariram. Linga Shariram, that is Chidabhasa, it quits Sthula Shariram along with the prana when karma is over. But what about Chit? Chit is always there. We cannot say Chit also goes away. Chidabhasa goes, but Chit doesn't go. Why Chit doesn't go? Because Chit is all pervading. Chit is Nitya. It is all pervading. It is Sarvatra Gagaha. Sarvagaha. It is Chit, Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam doesn't have a locus, doesn't have a place. It is all pervading. It is. Where does it locate Chaitanyam? That question itself is wrong. Chaitanyam is, it is all pervading. It is Nityaha. Nityaha Sarvagataha Stanahu Achaloyam Sanatanaha. Achedyoyam Adagyogyam Akledyo Shoshayevata. Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yeyenam Ajamabhiyam. Na Hanyate Hanyamane Sharire. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Puranaha. Therefore, Chit doesn't go. Chitta always is. The Chidabhasa goes when the person dies. The body becomes dead. Therefore, when the Chidabhasa quits the body, when the Linga Shariram, that is Prana Shariram, quits the body, Sukma Shariram, it takes with him the host of the other subtle things. So this is how a Jiva is created. Rup Ishvara. Jiva is created. Jiva is nothing but Rupantaram of Ishvara. Dehe Pravishya Ishvarasya Nama Bhavati Jivaha iti. The Swarupa of Jiva, therefore, is nothing but Ishvara alone. Because of this Upadhi, because of Abhimana, therefore there is Upadhi Abhimana. Because of Upadhi, therefore there is Karma, Karma Pala. It gets caught in the Janma Marana Chakra. Finally, who is liberated? That which is liberated by Jnanam. What is the liberation? Knowing that Aham Brahmanaha na Bhinnaha. It is Ishvara who alone entered. Therefore, that Ishvara, as though limited, as though become Parichinna, as though become Jiva. Now the Jiva is Jivatvam. That is why Jivatvam is Mithya, as to know that Aham Purnaha iti. That is what the whole process is. So, Pranadharanat Jivatvam iti. Shutihi Aguhu. Shutayaha Aguhu. Tika. Udahrita bihi Shruti bihi. Whatever Udahrita, whatever Upanishads were quoted. Dvaita Srishti Abhidhanantar, Ishvara Dvaita Srishti. Having presented, now Brahmanaha Jiva Rupena Tatra Praveshaha Api Abhigita. Brahmanaha Praveshaha Ishvara Jiva Rupena in the form of Jiva. That is Abhigita, that is presented, talked about. Itiyaha Krutva iti. Shutayaha Jaivam Jiva Sambandhi Rupantaram. Jaiva is Jiva Sambandhi. Jivasya idam Jaivam. Jiva Sambandhi Rupantaram. Rupantaram is Anya Rupam Mayuravimsakadi Samasa Tatpurushaha. Avikriya Brahmanaha. Brahma which doesn't undergo any change. Vilakshanam Vikari Rupam Ityartaha. Avikriya Brahmanaha Jiva Sambandhi Rupantaram, which is Vilakshanam, which is Vikari Rupam Ityartaha. Dehe Dehajate Jivatum Kutaha Itiyaha. Jivatum iti. In the Deha, in the body which is born, Jivatum where? Prana. Jivatum iti. Pranadinam Swamitvena Prerakatvam Pranadharanam Tasma Jaivam Rupam Krutva Pravishyati iti Uktam. Pranadharanat Brahmanaha Jivatvam. Katam iti Prichet. Pranadinam Swamitvena Prerakatvam Pranadharanam. Tasmat Jaivam Rupam Krutva, assuming the form of Jiva, Ishvaraha Pravishata. Pranadinam Swamitvena, master, owner. He is a preraka. So he is the one who, the preraka of prana, etc. Prerakatvam asti, pranadinam. Prerakatvam asti. Therefore, pranadharanam. Pranadharanat. Therefore, jivaha. Jivam rupam krutva ishvaraha pravishat. Okay, up to this, jiva. Now, having said this, now Ishvara assume the form of a jiva. So how jiva is introduced. Now, having said, what is jiva? Acharya here gives a very beautiful definition of who is a jiva. What is Ishvara already said? Mayantam prakriti vidya, mayinam tu mageshun. Ishvara is mayina. Mayinaha Ishvaraha. Mayi Ishvaraha. Ishvaraha is Mayi. What about jiva? What is the definition of jiva? Shloka number 11 gives the definition of what a jiva is. Let us read. Chaitanyam yadadishtanam lingadegascha yah punaha.
चैतन्यं यदधिष्ठानं लिङ्गदेहश्चयः
Chichaya lingadehasthat tatsangho jiva uchyate.
चिच्छाया लिङ्गदेहात् सत्सङ्गो जीव उच्यते
Tat sangha jivaha. Sangha, collection, group, samuha. Tat, kim tat, trayanam samugaha jivaha uchyate. Three things are talked about. Tat sangha, sangha, mahaprana. Tat sangha jivaha uchyate. Sangha meaning group of things, samuga. It number one. It adhishtanam chaitanyam, number one. Chaitanyam, which is the adhishtanam. Adhishtanam chaitanyam. Shariradina achetananam ashrayabhutaha chit chaitanyam. Pure consciousness, which is the basis of everything. So, if a chaitanyam, shuddha chaitanyam, then linga degascha yah punaha. Yaha linga degaha. That linga degaha, lingyate anena iti linga degaha. Dagyate iti degaha. Dahana yogyatva degaha. But linga is the indicator by which the jiva is, prana is, lingyate anena iti. That is sukshma shariram. So linga degascha yah punaha, that is sukshma shariram. Sukshma shariram, that is chaitanyam, is inferred through sukshma shariram. Suppose if Chidabhasa is not there. If Chidabhasa, Chit is reflected in the Sukshma Shariram, and that is Chidabhasa. Suppose if Chidabhasa is not there, then how will you decipher Chit? That is why it's called Linga Shariram. Therefore, Sukshma Sharira becomes the Linga, the indicator, the Hetu for Chit. Because Chit cannot be perceived because it is you, Chaitanyam. It is reflected in the Antakaranam, the Sukshma Sharira. Therefore, Chidabhasa can be inferred. Therefore, Linga Degastha, therefore becomes it becomes a Yetu. Therefore, since Linga Shariram becomes a Yetu for Chitta, therefore it is called a Linga Shariram. Since Sukshma Shariram becomes a Linga for inferring Chitta, therefore Sukshma Sharira is called Linga Shariram. That is the second component. First component is Chitta. Second component is Linga Sharira. Third component is Linga Degastha Chichaya. Chichaya, reflection of Chit in the Linga Degaha, Linga Degastha, Linga Dege Tishtati iti, Linga Degastha. Chichaya, Trilinga. Chaya, shadow reflection of Chit. So Linga Degastha Chit. Chichaya, that which is obtained in the Sukshma Shariram, that is Chichaya, Pratibimba Chaitanyam. All these three put together, Chit Adhishtanam, Lingadegaha, and Chichaya, the reflection. It is called Jivaha. What is Jivaha? Jivaha is equal to Chitta plus Sukshma Shariram plus then Chidavasa. This Samugha, Tat Sangho Jivaha Uchyate. That Sangha is called, that Samuha is called Jivaha. It's a beautiful definition. Good to memorize this. Adhishtana Chaitanyam, Ita Adhishtanam, that is Paramarthikam. Linga Degaha and Linga Degastha Chichaya, these two are, they cannot be Paramarthika, they are Vyavaharika. Linga Degastha Chichaya also comes and goes. In sleep, there is no reflection because there is reflecting medium. Antakarnam is not manifest in the sleep. That is why Chidabhasa comes and goes. Therefore, Sukshma, Shariragata Chichaya also in sleep goes to unmanifest, comes and goes. So these three components, they put together is called Jiva. So subtle body, Sukshma Shariram, Chaitanyam, and the reflection of Chaitanyam. Subtle body is appreciated because of Chidabhasa. Where subtle body is, the Chidabhasa is. They cannot be independent. Even in death also. Even death also, what happens? Chidabhasa goes along with the Sukshma Shariram. Stula Shariram, it is there, very well there. Stula Shariram is necessary for transacting with the external world in the presence of Sukshma Shariram. Stula Shariram alone cannot transact. Sukshma Shariram manifests through Stula Shariram and therefore the transaction. Now, Chidabhasa identifying with the Sukshma Shariram, that's called Sagaja Tadatmyam, the Chidabhasa, then at the time of death goes away, leaves the Shariram. So that's what is called death, separation of Linga Shariram from Stula Shariram. Now, that Jiva goes away, we say. That's what Jiva goes away. Jiva is what? Jiva is that Adhisthana Chaitanyam, Linga Shariram, and Chidabhasa. That goes away. Stula Shariram, we don't call it Jiva anymore, which is dead. We call it a body, dead body. It is not even called with the name. Where is the body? When the body comes, so we ask. Once the Linga Shariram leaves, Sthula Shariram loses its Chetanatvam. Suddenly it becomes a Chetana. Till the person was under medication, was under ventilation, is a person, Chetana Vastu. The moment goes away, it becomes Achetana. Sthula Shariram Achetana. Sukma Shariram goes away, left, which is Chetana. Which is Chetana because of the reflection of Chitta, Chidabhasa. With the Chidabhasa, there is a Tadatmya Bhava, the Chidabhasa identifying with the Sukshma Shariram, that's called Tadatmyam. Until knowledge takes place, this identification will be there. The Jiva will be traveling through different bodies and taking different Sharira and multiplying karma, and samsara continues. Now, what is knowledge? In knowledge, what we do, we separate the three which is put together. How can we separate? The separation is only through pure cognition. The Antakaranam and the Chidabhasa, it is inseparable. In the Antakaranam, there is reflection of Chitta, which is Chidabhasa. But Chidabhasa is also Chitta. The Chitta, as though confined by the Upadhi Antakaranam, is Chidabhasa. So Chitta is all pervasive. So therefore, how to separately understand aham chit atma iti. It is only through cognition, because they cannot be separated. And subtle body is put together with a subtle body, and that is not a parallel reality. It is mithya. It is belong to a different order of reality. Because it is mithya, therefore they can coexist. Chit and chidabhasa. Because mithya, the sukshma sharidam is superimposed on chit. Sukshma sharidam imposed on chit. That separation to be done. How do you separate cognitively? That is aham chit sukshma sharida stula sukshma karana sharidat bhinnaha atma iti. Understanding even the antakaranam, the Sthula Shariram is jada, it is mithya. Then what is it? Then once you understand, then that's called cognitive separation, that is called jnanam. As long as there is identification of chidabhasa with the sukshma sharira, jivatvam continues and samsara continues. The moment the chit, the sukshma shariram which is superimposed on chit, when by viveka it is discerned, understood separately, chit as chit, and sukshma shariram with chidabhasa as what it is. Chit remains unaffected because of superimposition. Understanding chit as me, aham, non-changing, then that is jnanam, and therefore that is mukti, that is freedom, because the chidabhasa is reflected on chaitanya, reflected on sukshma shariram is mithya. Once it is mithya, mithya is dismissed, goes away in the wake of jnanam, like Raju Sarpa. Sarpa is dismissed in the wake of Raju Jnanam. To do all those things, first we should know what Jiva is. That is why Jiva is talked about. What is Jiva? It is a mixture of these three things: Chitta, Chidabhasa, and Sukshma Sharira. So therefore, Jivena Atmana Anupravishya, Shruti says, for Jiva meaning Chidabhasa, Chaitanyam, and Linga Degaha. All these things put together is called Jivaha. The word Jivaha is used in different contexts and different Shruti. Sometimes Jiva can mean just Chidabhasa, not Chaitanyam or Linga. Sometimes it can mean Chaitanyam also. Depending on the context, we have to take the meaning of the Jiva. In this context, Jiva is Chidabhasa. In this context, Jiva is Chidabhasa plus subtle body, Sukshma Shariram plus Chitta. In some context, Jiva can be Brahma, like Jivaha Brahmaiva na Paraha. What does it mean there, Jiva? How can we say Jiva is Brahma? Because Jiva consists of three things, and you are equating to Brahma. Jiva Brahmaiva na Paraha iti. There we have to do Bhagatyaha Lakshana. Bhagatyaha Lakshana, Jiva Swarupam is Chaitanyam, Brahma Swarupam is Chaitanyam. Therefore, Jivaha Brahmaiva na Paraha. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jiva Brahmaiva na Paraha. The same word Jiva is used, but it has a different meaning there. Therefore, depending on the context, the meaning of the Jivas have to be understood. Like the word Atma, depending on the context, we understand. Similarly, Atma can mean Atma Sachidananda Atma, or Atma can mean body also, or Atma can mean the sense of being oneself, the ego. That also, different meanings are possible. Context. Similarly, here also, but here the Jiva is what Jiva is talked about, the mixture of these three. Etesham Trayanam Samugaha Sangaha Jivaha iti Uchyate. Kete Adhishtanam Chaitanyam Lingadegaha Tatha Chichaya Lingadegastha Chichaya iti. Then Tikakara says, short one, will quickly read. Kim taditi apekshayam aha Chaitanyam iti etadhishtanam. Adhishtanam Chaitanyam. It is adhishtana, on which alone superimposition happens. Adhyastha. Adhishtanam and adhyastha. Adhishtanam is that which is the that on which alone there is adhyastha. So Chaitanyam is adhishtanam. It is the adhara of everything. Therefore, adhishtanam Chaitanyam. Linga Dega Kalpana Adhara Bhutam. Yes, the Acharya defines. It is the adhara for imaging, kalpana, superimposing, linga dega. Yet chaitanyam asti, yascha tatra kalpitaha linga degaha. Linga degaha is kalpita, superimposed. That also. That second thing. Yascha tasmin linga dege vartamanaha chidabhasaha. Reflected consciousness. Pratibimba chaitanyam. Linga dega is superimposed on adhisthana chaitanyam. And therefore, in the linga dega, there is a reflection of Chaitanya, Pratibimba Chaitanyam. Etesham Trayanam Samogaha Jiva Shabdena Uchyate. Therefore, when linga dega is Mithya, Chidabhasa also goes to Mithya. What remains is only Chit. Chit is Ishvara. This is what the separation, understanding by separation, cognitive understanding by separation. That's what Jnanam is all about. So first here, Dvaitam is talked about, the Jiva is defined. Next shloka, we will see. We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Dhanyavadaha.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Dhanyavadaha.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಜಿ.